In this episode, we look at secure access, which is the set of ways people connect to systems, applications, and data without being physically sitting inside the same trusted location. That matters because modern work does not happen in one building anymore. You may connect from home, a hotel, a branch office, a mobile device, a contractor location, or a cloud application that never lived in the company data center. Secure access is meant to protect communication, verify identity, and limit what a user can reach. A virtual private network, VPN, remote access service, tunnel, or end-to-end encrypted messaging tool can all help protect information as it moves. But each one also creates risk if identity is weak, the endpoint is infected, permissions are too broad, or the configuration is careless. Secure access is not just about creating a protected connection. It is about deciding who should connect, from what device, to which resource, under what conditions. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. A VPN is one of the best-known secure access technologies. A VPN creates an encrypted connection between a user, device, site, or network and another trusted environment. Encryption helps protect the confidentiality and integrity of traffic as it crosses less trusted networks, such as the internet or public wireless. Without that protection, sensitive information may be easier to observe, modify, or steal while it moves. A VPN can make a remote user appear connected to an internal network, or it can connect two sites so they can communicate more safely. This is useful, but it also creates a major security decision. Once the tunnel is established, what should the user or system be allowed to reach? If the VPN grants broad internal access, a stolen account or compromised laptop may become a path into many systems. The encrypted tunnel protects traffic, but it does not automatically prove that the endpoint is safe. Remote access is broader than VPNs. It includes any method that allows a person or system to reach resources from a different location. That may include access to cloud applications, remote desktops, administrative portals, file services, internal web applications, support systems, or managed service platforms. Remote access is necessary for many organizations because employees travel, teams work from different places, vendors provide support, and administrators may need to respond during incidents. The security challenge is that remote access expands the places from which important systems can be reached. A login page that was once available only inside a building may now be reachable from many networks. A remote support path may give powerful access if abused. A secure remote access design should verify the user, evaluate the device, limit the destination, log activity, and avoid giving more network access than the task requires. Tunneling is the practice of carrying one kind of traffic inside another protected communication path. You can picture it as placing one conversation inside a sealed channel as it crosses an untrusted area. AVP uses tunneling, but tunnels can exist in other forms too. Tunnels may protect traffic between sites, between a user and an application, or between systems that need a private path over a shared network. The purpose is often to protect confidentiality, preserve integrity, and create a controlled route through a network. The risk is that tunnels can also hide activity from some security tools if those tools cannot inspect or understand the protected traffic. Attackers may also misuse tunnels to move data, bypass filters, or create unauthorized remote access paths. A tunnel should be approved, documented, monitored, and limited to its intended purpose. Protection becomes dangerous when it also becomes invisibility. User access is the human side of secure access. A protected connection should not be treated as permission to reach everything. The system still needs to decide whether the user is allowed to access a particular application, data store, administrative function, or file location. Authentication proves who the user is, while authorization decides what the user can do. Multifactor authentication, MFA, is especially important for remote access because the connection is often coming from outside the organization's controlled physical space. If a password is stolen through phishing or reused from another breach, MFA may stop the attacker from signing in. But MFA is not a complete solution by itself. Users can be tricked into approving prompts, recovery processes can be abused, and sessions can be stolen. Strong user access combines authentication, authorization, context, monitoring, and clear limits. Least privilege is one of the most important ideas in secure access. It means a user, device, application, or service receives only the access needed for the job and no more. Remote access without least privilege can be dangerous because it may place the user deep inside the environment. A contractor who needs one ticketing system should not automatically receive access to file shares, databases, management networks, and internal applications. An employee who needs one business application should not receive broad network access just because they connected through a VPN. Least privilege reduces the damage if an account is stolen or a device is compromised. It also makes normal activity easier to understand. When access is narrow and specific, unusual behavior stands out more clearly. Secure access should connect the right identity to the right resource, not open a wide door and hope the user stays in the right room. Endpoint risk is one of the hardest parts of secure access. An endpoint is the device used to connect, such as a laptop, phone, tablet, workstation, or administrator system. Even if the user is legitimate, the device may not be trustworthy. It may be missing patches, infected with malware, shared with other people, unmanaged by the organization, or connected through an unsafe network. If that device receives remote access, the risk travels with it. An infected laptop connected through a VPN may expose internal systems to malware or allow an attacker to use the protected tunnel. A personal phone with weak security may receive sensitive messages or approval prompts. This is why secure access often depends on device posture checks. The system may check whether the device is managed, encrypted, updated, protected by endpoint security, and compliant with policy before allowing sensitive access. Configuration risk appears when the secure access technology is set up in a way that weakens protection. AVPN may allow too much traffic. A remote access portal may expose administrative functions to the internet. A tunnel may remain open after it is no longer needed. A split tunneling setting may route some traffic through the protected path and some traffic directly to the internet, which can be useful but must be understood. A firewall rule may allow broad access from a remote access subnet to sensitive systems. Logging may be disabled or retained for too short a time. Certificates may expire. Weak encryption settings may remain enabled, or default settings may never be changed. The tool may be capable of strong security, but the actual protection depends on how it is configured, maintained, reviewed, and monitored over time. Encrypted messaging protects communication between people, teams, or systems by making the message content unreadable to unauthorized parties. End-to-end encrypted messaging means the message is encrypted on the sender's side and decrypted only by the intended recipient's side. In that model, intermediate systems should not be able to read the message content in plain form. This can protect sensitive conversations from interception, especially when users communicate across untrusted networks. It can also support privacy and reduce exposure if a communication provider is compromised. The trade-off is that strong encryption can reduce visibility for monitoring, compliance review, data loss prevention, and investigations. An organization may need to protect message content while still preserving appropriate records, legal obligations, and acceptable use rules. Encrypted messaging is valuable, but it must fit the organization's data handling and governance requirements. End-to-end encryption does not remove all risk from messaging. The message may be protected in transit, but the endpoints still matter. If the sender's phone is compromised, the attacker may read the message before it is encrypted or after it is displayed. If the recipient's device is unlocked or shared, the message may be exposed there. If a user screenshots sensitive content, forwards it to the wrong person, or copies it into an unapproved system, the encryption did its job during transmission, but the data still leaked afterward. Identity also matters. A secure message sent to the wrong account is still a problem. Key management matters too, because users need confidence that they are communicating with the intended person or system. Encryption protects a path, but it does not automatically solve device trust, user behavior, retention, or authorization. Secure access also depends on session management. A session begins after a user authenticates and continues while the system remembers that the user is signed in. Sessions make work practical because the user does not have to re-authenticate every few seconds. But long-lived or poorly protected sessions can be abused. If an attacker steals a session token, uses a shared device, or takes over a browser session, they may gain access without needing the user's password. Remote access sessions should expire appropriately, require renewed verification for sensitive actions, and end when risk changes. The system should detect unusual activity during a session, such as a sudden location change, impossible travel, access to unusual applications, or large data downloads. Secure access should not treat the first login as the final decision. Access should remain conditional while the session continues. Monitoring and logging are necessary because secure access creates important evidence. Logs can show who connected, when they connected, from where, using which device, which authentication method was used, what resources were reached, and whether access was denied or allowed. For VPNs and remote access platforms, logs can reveal unusual connection times, repeated failures, new locations, excessive session length, and unexpected destinations. For encrypted messaging, metadata and administrative records may still help show account activity, device changes, or policy events even when message content is protected. Monitoring should be useful without becoming careless with privacy. The goal is to detect misuse, support investigations, confirm that controls are working, and identify access paths that are no longer needed. A secure connection that leaves no useful record can make incident response much harder than it needs to be. Secure access should be designed around the resource being protected, not only around the network path. Older remote access designs often gave users a tunnel into the network and then depended on internal controls to do the rest. Modern designs increasingly focus on application-specific access, identity-aware access, and context-based decisions. This matches the zero-trust idea that a user should get access to the specific application needed, not broad trust just because a tunnel exists. A finance application, developer portal, administrative console, and public collaboration tool may each need different access rules. Some may require managed devices. Some may require stronger authentication. Some may block access from risky locations. Some may allow read access but require approval for changes. Secure access becomes stronger when each resource has a clear policy instead of treating every remote connection the same way. Secure access also has to support real work. If remote access is too difficult, people may create unsafe workarounds. They may email files to personal accounts, use unapproved messaging tools, share passwords, leave sessions open, or store data in places that are easier to reach. Usability does not mean weak security. It means designing secure paths that people can actually follow. Clear instructions, reliable tools, reasonable authentication prompts, good device enrollment, and fast support all reduce pressure to bypass controls. The best secure access design protects communication and limits risk while still helping the user complete legitimate work. This balance matters because security controls that people avoid are not really protecting the organization. A strong design makes the approved path safer and more practical than the shortcut. Secure access protects communication and enables work across distance, but it also creates new responsibilities. VPNs and tunnels can protect traffic, yet they can also provide broad or hidden paths if poorly controlled. Remote access helps users and administrators reach needed systems, but it expands the places where attackers may try to enter. End-to-end encrypted messaging protects message content, but it does not remove endpoint, identity, retention, or governance risks. Least privilege keeps access narrow, so one stolen account or compromised device causes less damage. Strong authentication, device health checks, careful configuration, session controls, logging, and resource-specific policies all work together. The main lesson is that secure access is not just a secure pipe. It is a complete decision about identity, device trust, communication protection, permissions, monitoring, and the real risk of what the user is trying to reach.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.